So this used to be called multiple personality disorder, but it's now known as dissociative identity disorder, or DID. Now, a sufferer with DID will have at least 2, sometimes more, up to 100, distinct and different personalities. And we call these alternative personalities alters. Now, these alters or personalities have very distinct individual traits. They might have a personal history of their own, or maybe different ways of relating to their surroundings or their environment. Alters will usually have a different name, and they can be from different genders or different races or different backgrounds. They will have distinct voice, mannerisms, and they may even have different postures or gestures or behaviors. In some cases, an alter can have allergies that differ from the core personality. So, for example, the core personality may not have a dairy allergy, but one of the alters might have a dairy allergy. The core personality may not have hay fever or allergies to, pollen, but one of the alters might. What's interesting is that the sufferers may not always be aware of the other personalities or alters. So in some cases, they don't even know when an alter presents itself and takes over. I think what's quite unusual about sufferers with DID is that some alters can even have very different physical characteristics, such as needing glasses or contact lenses to see, or speaking in a different language to the core personality. So what are the symptoms of dissociative identity disorder? I think it's best to put them on the screen so that you can pause the video and read them. Now, obviously, the primary symptom is 2 or more very distinct personalities, but there are other symptoms that go with that. So let's take a look. Now, sufferers often experience amnesia, which limits memories of past traumatic events as well. They sometimes also experience gaps in their memories relating to personal history, including family, friends, and places. So it can be quite a debilitating illness. DID sufferers tend to find it very difficult to perform routine daily tasks, and they find it incredibly challenging to keep a steady job because they very easily lose track of time. So what triggers the change from one identity to the other? Well, it can be many things. It can be emotional stress, alcohol or substance abuse. It can be anxiety, or memories of a specific event or situation can cause a transition or a switch. Now, a switch into a different alter or another alter taking over, it can last minutes, it can last days, and in some cases, rarer cases, it can sometimes last weeks or months. Now, treatment usually takes the form of antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs to control the anxiety, depression, or panic attack elements of the illness. But there's no magic pill that cures or treats it. So psychotherapy and cognitive therapies are a hugely important part of managing the condition properly. One thing I will say, and I think it's important to say, is that people often confuse schizophrenia and DID. So you'll hear people say things like, oh, they're schizophrenic, when they know someone who seems to be, lovely one minute and then extremely difficult the next. You'll hear staff describe their boss as schizophrenic a lot, but the disorders are distinctly different. For a start, schizophrenia sufferers don't have 2 different and distinct personalities. So when you hear somebody describing somebody who has a mood change as, oh my God, they're schizophrenic, they're multiple personality, it's probably best to correct them and say, no, they're not. They're just having a bad day.